Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to Exmortis Part 3. And as I was reading, I'll let you guys read this part. I'll start from here, even though I start from there. And I've been trying to call everyone lines, communities, cities to be down. I pray to God that they're okay for something well. So reason everybody are some understands how they hold to do their reputation of their churches of these creatures are not human, we're being told. So the local malls about a corporate website, so remain more fascinated, they spend more frightened than fascinated, I suppose, but to know that thy enemies for step to defeating them, well, that's what I've been saying now. 12th March. Layla's graveyard in San Francisco is much better off at the moment. Millions of lives lost. The president made a statement today, but it was all rhetoric about defending our way of life, making sure justice will be served. Just another way of saying that they are as scared and clueless on the course of action as we are. So true. The military has been being defeated for most of the day. From our reports we've seen, we aren't faring so well. The casualty rate is ridiculously high, but all military reports for conferences we've seen have been positive. Hopefully this isn't a war propaganda machine turning. I received word that her brother Joe got alive, but it doesn't look good for the rest of the family. Her parents were smack bang in the middle of the night, so even if they managed to start their exodus, these creatures would have been on. It's insane. Am I dreaming? 16 Mark, we nuked them. I can't fudging believe it. We actually dropped a nuke on them, on our own soil over residential land on the upper Pacific coast, after only one day of engaging the enemy. It's too early to know if it was affected by just a realization of how completely worst case scenario that this must be for this sort of action to be taken. Well, it just boggles the mind. And now his brother Joe is driving here. He's going to stay with us for a while. I'm going to set him up in Claire's old room. Hopefully he won't have to suffer the same first effect support from the strange room. Considering what is happening in that room is the least of our worries. Well, I've just been advised that the nuke is not stemmed to flow benefit. I think the birds that were used were completely ineffectual. In other words, it totally did not work. Being told these things, which are being referred to as Exmortis, have virtually wiped out most of our towns, villages, and cities along the Pacific coast, and are heading north up into Canada, back east to our other coast. Yeah, let's see. Back east, we have been lucky in that these things started off around this area somewhere. Most people have been saying that Exmortis numbers when they initially hit summer or menu compared to the minutes they now consider rare or spirit, but it won't be long before we can see them back this way. Oh Lord, please let us turn in on the right day. And all you have is close on his back in the court game. The stories he had told us were just, he only just managed to say that. Finally, he got a frantic, garbled phone call from his and his father telling him to get out of the city immediately with no questions asked. He did exactly that, but he never heard from his parents again. Aww. All I could say was that his father sounded more scared than he had ever heard. You could hear his mother sobbing and praying in the background all through the call. Joe must have choked on the words through tears at least a dozen times. At least they were together in the end. Anna has taken this all remarkably well. She was shuffling around the cell this morning and emerged with an old Bible. She's never really been a very religious nut, but when I caught her sneaking in the bedside territory, she told me that having close makes her feel much better. I love her so much. 18th March. Something I really get I'm gonna be sick of reading after this. 18th March. Something has Joe extreme more than he was when he arrived. He won't talk about it, but he's adamant that he doesn't want to sleep in Claire's old room again. I have noticed that he's sporting some pretty vicious bruises on his face, arms, and ribs, which weren't there yesterday. When I asked him about it, he'd rather change subject, ignore the line of question, or just pretend he didn't hear and go off on tangents. We relocated into the room and went to temporary arrangement for now. It's official. Washington's fallen. Air Force One failed to make it off to the tarmac before it was set upon. What hope is there left for us? Our military is all but wiped out. Everything we've thrown at them is failed, and now reports of Japan are coming under siege. The mood here in the mood here in the house is quite launching, almost like we begin up anyone home voting the apparently inevitable face up before us. We've been told that the current rate of advancement, if more is followed, and soon course moving down the King's Coast and then back crosswise towards us. Here we only have another 3 weeks tops. Where are these things coming from? How did they grow in such a mammoth manner? By the $1 billion, what the fudge questioner? Who are they and why are they doing it? So I'm afraid that we won't live long enough. 31st of March. New York has fallen. Millions were dead. Then the front of the chest stop. I feels like something's touching the back of my head. Ignore. To be following the expected pattern at the moment, heading south down the coast while spreading the umbrella for us every day. I try to continue collecting as many news articles as possible. Press productions are particularly hard to come by. We still have a stage going, even if nearly all of the news are delivering are stemmed. To use down only a couple of channels, suffice to say that we're programming isn't anywhere. It's just constant barrage news and images of rampages across the world. I still keep track of what's happening in other countries. Sometimes my buzz. I have much mentioned and much article by more countries. I've heard that we have heard some story for a fairly major majority. They have broken up and are headed south to somewhere other southern. How is that a reprieve? I wouldn't be happy. Just means that you're gonna be basically the last one to go. As much as the text and the pressure off there are still smaller larger creatures going back this way, probably to finish off the smaller communities we remain on how they're staying within. Close fronting each other. I didn't still last remaining about them amongst us. I would have lost my mind a few weeks ago if it wasn't for a positive influence. Intersect. Okay. With every day that passes, I get closer and I can feel my sanity slipping just a little bit more. Electricity went out today. At least we had the support thoughts stuck up in my and I spent most of the day cleaning out and trying to make a few creatures have been spotted and dashing across the open crunch 50 miles from us. So while we are now in harm's way, the Exmortis have been spread pretty thin in our locality. And as on the opportunity that they aren't in such great numbers around here, we might send you that if we hole up in the cellar. I'm not sure, so sure myself, but it is definitely a better option than just standing on the open waiting to be slaughtered. Most of the local properties have purchased portable CVR radios and our air horns to alert neighbors of incursions. People were getting jittier by the day. It seems there was a false alarm set at the Jackson house. As soon as we heard the air horn, we frantically ran it out the kids and held up, and only to hear Bob's cheapest apology radioed across the CB. Dog. It was just a dog. Oh, come on. Are you serious? But wait, that dog had to be running for a reason. I haven't laughed at hard in ages. In fact, I haven't laughed at all in ages. Poor old Bob Jackson was probably getting an earful from his wife. I'd hate to have been in his shoes today. Yeah. There were changes in May. The Culvers are down there. They didn't even have time to get to the shelter. After a few hours of waiting anxiously under a cellar after alarm, we broke radio silence to check on everyone's welfare. The Colbys were the only ones that didn't answer. Joe, Bob, and I geared up and drove up to the Colby house. Nothing could have prepared me for what he saw. Greg, Karen, and his kids were just torn to shreds. Karen's also was strung up from the tree out the back, and her legs were just mainly a mess at the foot of the storm. Found bits of Greg scattered around his back porch, and the kids, oh god, the kids, suffering they would have been. Subject to I am dry retching as I write this. No one deserves to go through that. Is this what we can expect when my own children, my own flesh and blood, end up the same way that the Colbys did? And what kind of fate is that? Seeing this level of humanity firsthand has affected me more than anyone will know. This Colby things have been pretty quiet for... I think I just heard noise. What? Okay, nothing. Our provisions have started to get fairly scarce these last few days. I don't know how much longer we are going to be able to hold out for. And more reading. As much as I hated doing it for so many reasons, Joe and I had to return to the coffee house to raid their supplies. We managed to scavenge enough provisions to keep us going for another few weeks at least, but beyond that, I'm not sure what we do. It's almost been a month since the last alarm was sounded, but Joe claims to have heard some rather worrying news. This could all be hearsay, but he was told that it's purely the calm before the storm. Joe was told that further inland, a rather large horde of creatures has been slowly heading westwards. For the past few nights, I have noticed a distant buildup of strange clouds just hanging onto the edge of the horizon. I fear that we don't have much time left. Dun dun dun! Nowhere to run and hide this time. The clouds in the eastern have been getting larger since last time. The build-up of a creature around that direction must be massive. The distance sound of thunder now permanently hangs in the air. I don't think hiding in the cellar is going to work this time around. Explorers are in a final sleep, and I don't think they will leave any stone unturned. No time left, no hope. I can't stop thinking about the Colby family. Their faces twisted in painful screams. They are ripped to shreds. To make matters worse, their food supplies have just run out. Joe has offered to make a mad overnight dash to the old town center to raid some of the shops. I told him it was pointless. At the rate those clouds are approaching, they will be honest before you can get back in time. Food means nothing if you're not alive to enjoy it. But he went anyway. Joe, you fool, you'll never get back in time. Hey! 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 Yay! Why am I upset? I want to read the last page, you jerk! What'd you... Fine. Oh, wait, is this... Oh, don't tell me that's his wife. Okay, I'm out. Oh, okay, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch Exmortis by his toe. If he hollers, then we'll go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll do this one. Ooh, a Zippo lighter. Click, 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 click. Haha. Okay, reading time more. Children, no matter how many times I bear witness to such inhumanities, I just can't get used to it. The Exmortis must have swept through here recently. So does that mean they were killed, like, only a little while ago? This blood-soaked sheet has been draped over the bodies of these dead children. If the Exmortis did this, who would have covered them with the sheet? This little mattress looks like it's been in this room for years. It currently serves as a rather pointless cushion for these poor souls in front of me. Oh, there are 3 of them. Okay, I've done that one. I don't want to really load. Hello? Okay. Why is there like... okay. It seems the water supply to this place is still functional. This tap seems to be working just fine. Pretty demonic sounding tap water. Glow the occasional flash of lightning and the sky lights up the room. So pull down blinds hanging in front of these windows. Can I open them? Nope. Toy spider with a small amount of blood. There's no point in opening the lid. What do I expect to find in there other than the obvious? Gotta use the restroom. Man on a mission. There's a fair amount of blood on the floor here. Whoever it belongs to was probably dragged to the bathtub from the looks of it. I don't want to open this. I know. I've seen too many movies and horror games to know that something's going to be behind her. Whatever all that blood is from is probably behind the shower curtain. I don't. Oh no, I know I have to. 1, 2, 3, 4! What is it? The bath is stained with blood of a recent kill, but whoever's blood this is no longer in the tub. Okay, great. Okay, I've been in here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Clear some, most of the roof thing here seems rather water damaged. However, there's a section which appears to have been ripped rather violently. Okay, that means I have to go down to the cellar, aren't I? I don't wanna, I really don't. Oh, don't go away, go away, go away. Nobody's here, nobody's here. The door at the end of the corridor seems to be unlocked, but it is being blocked from the other side by something. I don't mind. I do not mind. The door on the right of the corridor leads into another room. It appears to be a service hatch or some kind of air conditioning duct. Nope. Nope. I am not entering that conditioning duct. Too many people, once again, die in air conditioning ducts. I mean, just watch Alien. Oh, bad idea! Bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea. Okay. Flashes of lightning, claps of thunder still shake the barren landscape seen through this curtain, and I can't open it. This time used to serve a purpose, but now it is nothing but a mere reminder of a life and luxury that I once had. One of those Sudoku puzzles sits on the table here. They used to be all erased, but I never really got hooked. 3 inner squares of the puzzle are highlighted. Race entry. I don't know. From the looks of the blood spot on the chair, I assume that this poor soul was strung up before he was mutilated. Ew. The shelves are littered with ornaments and various fine dining implements left by the former occupants of this house. Doesn't even seem to be bowing. The beam in the center of the room that the man hangs from doesn't even seem to be bowing slightly from the weight of his lifeless torso. Large amount of this man's blood pools beneath his lifeless hanging form. I curse under my breath Exmortis for their inhuman brutality. Fudge, that poor bastard had his eyes. I go and say fudge instead of the F word, and then I go and say bastard. Yeah, that makes sense. Fudge, that poor B-man had his eyes, arms, legs, and heart ripped from him. Only the Exmortis could kill this kind of cruelty.